Mrs. Steinman, can we talk about GDP growth? Gross domestic product.
What about
in relation to the budget?
What about it?
Before you continue with your question, in relation to the budget.
I think I have spoken to this maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I explained the central importance of the GDP calculations.
Yeah.
Now this is where the MTEF, the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework of the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, where it becomes very important. Because it provides us with a tool to sort of make a reasonable estimate of what we think GDP will be. Now GDP, gross domestic product, is, if you look at Namibia, the whole country, as if it's a company, then it is basically the turnover of the company. So I'm very fond of calling it Namibia Incorporated. So what will Namibia Incorporated do for the next year, and what have they done in the current year, and how does this compare to the way or the performance that they had in the prior year?
Yeah.
You see, so GDP in a single year does not exist in isolation. It's a continuum. It's always GDP as a percentage, a bigger percentage of the previous year. So it builds. You see, and the point I made in the first part of our talk is that we've been working in this framework on this platform since 2003. So it is refined to a very high degree, and I think we are very diligent in the way that we apply that framework. So this is now sort of background on GDP. How do we get to calculating that expected turnover for Namibia Incorporated? If you look at the figures of the last 2 years, then you will notice that in 2024, the estimate was for 4.1% GDP growth. Because the engine was running on 6 cylinders, a nice V6 that we had in 24. But it never materialized. The initial estimates that I saw, they said yes, 4.1, even maybe 4.2. But when all the data was collected, and after the whole 24 fiscal year has been concluded, the real growth came out at 3.9%. So that is a historical figure. This is no longer an estimate. This is an actual value. So that in 2025 was first adjusted to a growth rate of about 3.4%. Now these are figures that the Bank of Namibia put out. And you get growth estimates from the Bank of Namibia, but you also get growth estimates from the Ministry of Finance. And they're not always exactly the same, but they are at least on the same page. You know, if there are discrepancies or differences in the estimate, then there's a reason for it, and they usually state what their assumptions are. Why is there a difference between what the National Planning Commission advises the Ministry of Finance and what the Monetary Policy Committee advises the Bank of Namibia? So now remember, we are still in the current, we are still in the 25 fiscal year. This is very important to realize. It's not done yet. It's only done at the end of this month. So we don't really know 100%. We've got a very good idea. We've got a 98% view on what to expect and what's going to happen, but we don't know for sure. And the current estimate for the growth in this year, this fiscal year, is for 3.1%, which I doubt very much. I think it will be more 3.3, maybe 3.4%, not that much below 2024.
Okay.
And the reason, all this long talk that I have just explained, the reason is that the GDP is your base calculation. Everything else gets calculated from GDP or is expressed as a percentage of GDP. So for that reason, the GDP calculation is very, very, very important.
Well, let's go for another short break. When we come back, we will be talking about debt and inflation.